It's been a minute. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Y'all clicked on the video. What's up, y'all? It's been a hot little minute. Oh my goodness, my last video was 2 weeks ago, which if y'all know, I haven't done that in a minute. Like, I try my best to post every week, but y'all, life got busy. Yeah, life got real busy, and then also the reading slump was slumping, and if I'm not reading, then what am I gonna post, you know? Yeah, my last video was the spend a week in Hawaii with me, which y'all, absolutely a dream. I literally cannot think of a better place that I've been, and I miss it already so much. I'm just I miss the weather, I miss the rainbow, I miss the ocean. I'm just like so ready to go back one day, but I do get to go to the beach again soon, so I guess that's okay. But it's not gonna be the Hawaii beach, which, you know, that's sad, but the beach nonetheless. But yeah, so what's been going on since? I had to take a work trip, so like I was home once I got back from Hawaii. I think I was home for like 5 days and then went right back out, and I actually just got home last week. I got home Friday, so I had the weekend to kind of just sleep. I was so tired, I think, like just from going from the Hawaii time zone and coming back to Nashville time zone, and then I had to go to Eastern time zone. It was just, all the time zone flips were just getting to me, and I was just, my sleep schedule was screwed, and I was also irritated because I was not interested in like anything I was reading. It was just so hard to like want to read. But nonetheless, we are home and I am back for a few weeks, so I get to finally just like, you know, get back into my routine. I'm a routine oriented person, so when my routine is out of whack, everything else just is out of whack too. But yeah, we're gonna talk about all the books I read in March, which I'm surprised I even read as many as I did, because I went a lot of days not reading at all, like a lot of time not reading. So yeah, let's look at the metrics, the numbers. So for the month of March, I read a total of 12 books, and it looks like 2 of them were short stories, so that probably helped. But yeah, so let's get into it. I'm gonna go in the order I read them. Let's go on Goodreads. But if you guys remember, so at the end of February, once I finished Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, I was in just a horrible slump. Like, it was just so hard to pick up anything. And at the beginning of March, I thought I had came out of it, and then I think the video before my last video was like a reading vlog of me getting out of a slump. And I don't remember what I was reading in that video. I think I was reading The Fake Out. I think I was reading Timid. Yeah, but nonetheless, it like slowly, it didn't really get me out of the slump. It like slowly helped me get back into reading, but the slump was still very much slumping. I had plans to read while I was on vacation. Y'all, I read a little bit. If you've seen that video, if you haven't watched the video, go watch the video. You'll see how much I read. I really didn't read much at all. So yeah, but starting off with, let me go to my Goodreads because I do not remember what I rated half of these books. The TBR jar, and I think I only read a total, I read 3 books off of that list. Yeah, so I read 3 books. I know I picked 8, so a lot of them are on my TBR this month because they're actually books I do want to read. So for the month of May, we're gonna go back into picking prompts again, because I was like, I really want to read the ones that I picked last month. So I was like, there's no point in me doing one this month if like my TBR is kind of already full for this month, and we're already at April 11th, which is crazy because I've only read 2 books. but I think we're getting out of the slump. Starting out, which this was the book that made me think I was out of my slump, because I literally binged this book. But I read the wrong, I read Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, and this was, what prompt was this? This one was a romance novel prompt. So yeah, y'all, I didn't know what to expect when I went into this, but y'all, I literally binged this on the couch all day on like that Saturday. I like remember that day, like I got up and I was like, I'm just gonna try to read today, and y'all, I binged this and I gave it 5 stars. I think if I had read it any other time, it probably would have been a 4-star, but I think like I just read this at the perfect moment. Like I was in a romance mood, I just needed something light, something fluffy, and this was so good. And I think it's her adult romance. If I remember correct, it was, I mean, yeah, it was spicy. It did have some spice in there, but like it wasn't all spice, which I think I really liked. Like there was a really good plot here. I will say the main female character, she was making me mad sometimes, but overall really enjoyed this. There's also a blurb from Allie Hazelwood on here, and y'all know I love me some Allie Hazelwood. Is it a what do you call it? Are they forwards? I always call them blurbs, but I honestly don't know what they call them. But yeah, this was the first book. Like I said, 5 stars. Absolutely enjoyed it. Do I want to say what it's about? I mean, it's about a girl who a guy ends up texting the girl, and they I think it's on Valentine's Day. If I remember, was it Valentine's? No, it wasn't. Was it Valentine's Day? I don't know. They ended up texting each other, but they didn't know who each other were, and then they end up like basically continuously texting each other, but never had met. And then yeah, so it's like a little love connection that happens through text messages, and they never really find out who it is until like halfway through the book. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's good, y'all, I promise, it's good. But then next I read, I think this was a short story. Yes, so I read the second book in the Love Sisters trilogy, which was I Think I Might Need You by Christina C. Jones. What did I give this one? I gave this one a 4-star. I'm trying to think what this one was about. Oh, this one was this The Traveler? No, the third one was The Traveler. This one, wait, okay, y'all, I had a brain fart from it. I was like, wait, what was this one about? But yeah, so this one is, you know, it's the Love Sisters. It's 3 sisters, and each book focuses, it's like a little short story. Each one focuses on how they find love. So this one, she was a social media influencer, like a fitness influencer, and her ex-boyfriend is also in the fitness influencer community. And it's also an accidental pregnancy trope, and yeah, it was so good. I love her. I love Christina's writing. It's just so easy to get through. You actually laugh. Like, I love books where like I'm actually laughing like out loud. So yeah, I absolutely love that one. 4 stars, like I said. And then the next book I read was The Fake Out by Stephanie Archer, which, if you want more information about this one, you can watch my Getting Out of a Reading Slump video, because I think I started and finished this one. I will say Behind the Net is still my favorite, but I really did like this one. Rory and Hazel, they were so cute. I love Hazel. I think I'm very much like Hazel. Like, she knows what she wants. She knows how to go after it. And then you just have Rory, this guy that just comes in, and it's just like, he's just like, he knows what he wants to, but he's just like, I'm gonna be that person for you. But yeah, so it is fake dating turns real dating. She's trying to get back at her ex, and he doesn't like the ex anyway. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's super cute, and I absolutely loved it. I love Stephanie Archer's writing. I keep saying I'm going to start her other series, the Queen Cove series, so I do promise to do that soon. But I do think we're going to get a 3rd book. Yeah, we definitely get a 3rd book. I think I have an idea of who it's about, and if y'all don't remember, this one's the upside down one. The one that's not upside down is on my bookshelf now, so I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with this one, because it's like backwards and upside down. but yeah, I gave this one, I think I gave this one 4 stars as well. I think, yeah, 4 stars. So yeah, it was literally just like a super simple light read. Like, you know, it was just, if you're just, it was more so like I was just there for the vibes. That's what a lot of the books were for this month, was just, Jasmine, you're here for the vibes. Next book I read was I Think I Might Want You, which is the 3rd book in the Love Sisters like trilogy, and this one I gave 3 stars. This was my least favorite, but it was still good. Like 3 stars is not a bad rating. It's just I enjoyed. I think the second one was my favorite. I did like the first one too, but I think the second one was my favorite. But yeah, this one, this sister, she is a influencer. Like she travels a lot, and she wrote a book where she had a one-night stand with a guy, and like that particular chapter is just like what everyone's talking about. And obviously she's like, I'm never gonna see this guy again, but she does end up coming across, they end up crossing paths again, and you just get to see how all that happens. But they're both also like, well, she in particular, like she's just like, I don't want to, I travel, like I'm not about to be in a relationship. So all of that, but nonetheless, it was still a really good read. Highly recommend it if you just want something short and something that's going to make you laugh. And yeah, it's just all the little giggles and all the feels. Next, I read Timid by Devney Perry. This is the 2nd book in the Lark Cove series. This one actually took me a minute to get into, and it was not the book. I think it was just literally me being in the slump that I was in, and also because I love Tattered so much, I wanted more of those characters. But once I read this one, I did fall in love with the characters. I really did love them. You have Willa and what's Jackson, I think is his name. Yes, Jackson. So Willa is just, I'm not gonna say this innocent little quiet girl, but in a way she is. It's a small town. Jackson works at the bar. He's part owner of the bar, and he has this like playboy kind of persona around him. But Willa has always had a crush on Jackson, and Jackson gets drunk one night and they end up crossing paths, and he doesn't remember the night at all. Like nothing really bad happened that night, but he doesn't remember the night. So it's kind of like, now she's like, her feelings are kind of hurt, because she's like, you really don't remember anything, like you don't remember us talking or anything like that. So yeah, there you just, Jackson's basically like, he starts to like only have eyes for Willa, but he cannot figure out why Willa is like not interested in him no more, like all of that. So, and then also like she's had this crush on Jackson since the first day she saw him, like, and all through like high school and college, like that's who she always wanted. So yeah, so yeah, like all her friends are like, girl, you gotta get over this crush, but then like she sees like Jackson is actually like starting to like really like her, and yeah, all of that. But very good. Like I said, I really fell in love with these characters. I just actually finished the 3rd one, and I'm kind of upset we didn't get more of them, but hopefully we do get more of them in the 4th book. There's 2 more books that I have to read for it, so hopefully we do get more of Willa and Jackson, because they are just adorable. They're so cute, and I love Willa now. I absolutely love her. The next one I read was Hit Me With Your Best Shot. It's I'll put it here. It's a compilation of short stories, and I actually only read S.J. Silva's short story. It was actually an arc, but I do want to go back and read the other authors because it was really good. But yes, so I can't remember what I believe, I'm trying to see, it's just each one is about like a different, let me just go to like my Kindle app, because that way I can like tell you guys like the actual like title of that one, because they're all kind of like different. Let's see. So Call Me Teach, that's what that's what her section of the book is called. But this one, the girl, her brother is a hockey player, and she ends up having to move in with him and his roommates because her and her ex have just split, and she doesn't really know. She kind of blames herself for it. Like, she's not confident in like her abilities in the bedroom, and her brother's best friend is attracted to her, and they make a deal where he is to basically help her become confident in herself. So yeah, that's what that one is about. I gave it 3 stars. There wasn't like any reason why. It was just a normal, it was just a short story. It was a good read. But yeah, like I said, I do want to go back and read the other ones, but it was just your typical like hockey short story romance. So yeah, 3 stars. But I highly recommend, if you are into hockey romances and you just want something quick and quirky, definitely recommend that. But then the next book I read, which this was also one of my this one was another one of my TBR prompts, but it was Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan, and this one was, I think, by a author of color. And y'all know I loved Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan, and so this one had been on my TBR for so long. I don't know why I kept putting it off. I think like I kept seeing that people, like, it was emotional, and I was just like, I need to save it. But the only thing, I'm kind of sad I didn't cry. I really did want to cry. But I think I gave this one 4 stars, and the only reason I did not give it 5 stars was because I didn't cry. Like, what I kept seeing, like, everyone was like, oh, this is so emotional. And don't get me wrong, it was emotional, but like, I wanted to sob, and the way I wanted to sob like how I did in Long Shot, and unfortunately it did not sob. So that was the only reason it did not get a 5 star. But everything else about this is impeccable. I absolutely love these characters. You have Jasmine and Josiah. So they divorced after a very tragic event in their marriage, but they have remained friends. They have 2 kids. They have a business together. So their lives are very much still intertwined. They have been together for years, and so it was just very shocking when they divorced. But being in each other's lives, you know, you can definitely tell there's still feelings. And then obviously, you know, they still have the kids. But both are trying to move on. They both are trying to, you know, it's been 2 years since their divorce, so like now they're getting back into dating other people. And yeah, you just get to see how that works and the dynamic of all of that. And then also just how Jasmine is starting to find herself again, because after the event in their marriage, once the divorce happened, she just really had to work on herself. She was going through therapy and everything, and Josiah is like very against therapy, so like she like started that process by herself. It was just, there's like the plot, it's a very good plot. I'm trying to think of how you was like, it's not plot heavy, it's character heavy. I think you just get to learn these two like as characters, and usually you have to fall in love with them, but you also fall in love with their story. So yeah, I think that's like the best way I can word it. Because yeah, like, yeah, the plot was there, but like I think I fell in love more with the characters and I fell in love with the plot. So yeah, absolutely loved it, y'all. I really do wish that restaurant was real, because I would love to try that restaurant. Y'all, they made that restaurant like that Josiah and Jasmine own together. They made that restaurant sound spectacular, and I'm just like, man, I really wish that I could try that restaurant. And then the next book I read was a thriller, so I read Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Y'all, I have been wanting to read this for so long. I know this is gonna sound silly, but first I really wanted to read it because of the floppiness of the book. Like, when a book is super floppy, that like makes me want to read it more. So not too much on me, but yes, I was definitely interested because of the floppiness. But I've also had heard really good things. I don't know why, I really thought this was a movie. I thought this was a movie, and I really wish they would make it into a movie. I think it could be a really good movie. But yeah, this was also a TBR prompt jar, and it was a book that you've had for a long time, and I think this is really one of the first books that I bought when I first started reading. So I had it back in 2020, no, not 2020, 2022. So yeah, but This one is about a teenage girl. She goes missing, and years later they still have not found her. And so obviously all these years have passed, and the mom still never gets closure, but eventually they do find her daughter, and unfortunately her daughter has passed. And the mom is trying to move on. Her and the dad did end up divorcing, just because after the loss of their daughter, just like things just were not the same. They still had 2 other kids, so for the sake of just the household in general, they did divorce. And so the mom is now, she's like trying to get back out there. Now she's gotten closure of her daughter, and I wouldn't even say closure, but like now she like has some kind of answers. So yeah, she ends up dating a new guy, and the guy has kids of his own, and his daughter is just like, his daughter reminds her so much of her daughter, her daughter that passed. And there's just, it starts to bring up questions, you know, like obviously she still doesn't know what really happened to her daughter. She just know her daughter is no longer there. So yeah, we go along that path of like her just living her life, but also like finding things, and then eventually just coming to the point where like, okay, like now it's time to start digging. It's time to, you know, like something's not adding up. I just can't put this to the side. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely loved it. It kept me interested. I think I gave this one 4 stars as well. Yeah, and so I will say I did guess the plot twist, but that like, usually if I guess the plot twist, I'm usually like, okay, that like makes my rating go down. But I honestly was not mad about it, because there was still so much to the plot twist that I did not guess. Like I guessed the main thing, like I guessed who was the guilty one, but it was just like everything that happened with it, like it was very obvious who did it, but it was just how, and you know why. Like there was just so many questions, and literally it just shocked the heck out of me. Like my mouth was to the floor, and I was like, are you serious? Like this is what this girl went through. So yeah, highly recommend it if you have not read this. This is my first Lisa Jewell book, I think, but I do have a few more by her, and so I will definitely be reading more of her. Let me know if you guys have read any of her books and what you think, and what are some of your favorites. Okay, so then the next book I read was Love Lily by Belinda Mary, which I'll put this here. This was like this is a closed door romance, clean, I think it's, I forgot how she did, but I think it's like, it's one of those romances. But super cute. It's about a girl who bakes, and she has been best friends with these 2 siblings for years. Obviously her best friend is like the sister, but she's also really close with the brother, and she's also always like had a crush on the brother. But the brother is dating someone, and they're not a fan of who he's dating. But yes, so she works this job where she's just not treated fairly. They look, where she works, you know, it's like a predominantly male area, and they just don't really appreciate her work. They don't appreciate her, and they kind of just really sexualize her a lot, like just don't treat her like she's human. And so her dream is to have always been open up her own bake shop, because she bakes really good goodies. And so the brother that she's best friends with actually ends up finding an opportunity for her to bake some goods like for this event, and where like a bunch of vendors get to set up and basically showcase their talents, and she does, and it goes really good. So she ends up doing more, and then her ex-boyfriend ends up inviting her to his wedding with his new girlfriend. So she needs a date, so her and the brother end up fake dating. And all of this is like her best friend's knowledge, so it's not like, you know, it is like best friend's brother, but also in a sense like it's not a secret. But they end up fake dating, and we all know how that turns out. You fake date, and you know, you have all the magic. And yeah, so it was just, you know, your very predictable romance, but it was also just so cute. And like I said, me being in the slump that I was in, like at that point I was just like, let me just read something that's just gonna keep my attention. Like I was just, y'all, I was struggling, and I was just like, I just need to read something that's like I was just, y'all, was struggling, and I just wanted to read so badly, and I was like, let me just try to finish this, because I had started it a few times, and it wasn't that I didn't like it, it was just like, I wasn't in the mood. But at that point I wasn't in the mood for anything, but I was like, let me just read a romance, because, you know, why not? And so yeah, it was good. I gave it 3 stars, and I am gonna start the next one, which is not accidentally Amy. I'm thinking of a book by Lynn Painter, but this one is called Always Amy. So this is actually focusing on the best friend. So yeah, I am super excited to start that one. That one's just more like a workplace romance is what I think it is. So yeah, highly recommend that if you're just looking for, it's on Kindle Unlimited, so if you're just looking for like something to read to pass the time, I recommend that one. But then the next book I read was Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and I actually read this one with the Thrills and Chills book club. I will link their channel below, and I'll link the video where we talked about this book, because y'all, this book was so good. This was the only book that I finished while I was in Hawaii, and at that point I didn't even finish it while in Hawaii. I was reading it on the plane, and I finished it on the plane. But yes, absolutely, Frida McFadden never fails. But this one, literally, y'all, I did not guess not 1 ounce of the plot twist. Like, everything I guessed was wrong. It was just not not predictable at all. It was like you think you knew something, and then it's like you didn't. It was just like, bro, you were so off. Like, you were way off. But this one focuses on a psychiatrist. Is she a psychiatrist? Yeah, she's a psychiatrist, and she has gone missing, and so her home is now up for sale. And so you have newlyweds Trisha and Ethan. They are looking for a home, and they come across that house, and they ended up getting snowed in when they went to go see the house. And so they are forced to stay there for a few nights, and during that time, Trisha is trying to entertain herself, so she comes across the psychiatrist's tapes from her old sessions before she went missing and passed. So she starts to listen to them, and you know, she finds out a lot of stuff. She finds out a lot of tea, and we go through that with her. Like, we get to read the transcripts of them, and you just get very immersed. This is like one of those books where I got so immersed in it, and I was just like, it came to a point, I think I stopped trying to guess the plot, because I was just so like trying to just like, I was just so like into like the transcripts. Like, I was just imagining myself sitting there watching these sessions, and yeah, it was just, y'all, it was good. I read it on my Kindle, actually. If y'all know, Frida McFadden, all her books are on Kindle Unlimited, which is so amazing. And her books are always like super quick to read. This one's only 330 something pages, so highly recommend if you have not read this one. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars, I think. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, I'll link the videos below if you guys want to see like us talking about it with the book club. Like, everyone had so many good like opinions, and it was just so funny, because I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think any of us like actually, like, some people guessed like part of it, but I don't think none of us like guessed the full thing, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. So the next book I read was The Love Contract, which I read on my Kindle by Sophie Lark. If you guys know, I've only read one other book by Sophie Lark, which that was Minx, and I did like it, but it wasn't my favorite book. It was definitely not my normal like genre of reading. Like, it was romance, but like, it was very different. It was very different. It was very taboo, and while I enjoyed it, like I said, it just wasn't my favorite book. And so I decided to pick up Love Contract, and I will say I love this one a lot more than I loved Minx. This one, you have these main 2 characters. They went to high school together, but the main female character, she is now an assistant for this billionaire who's like so rude, and the main male character is a realtor, and he wants to sell land to the guy that she works for. So he, in a sense, kind of blackmails her to help him establish a connection with her boss so he can sell this land to him. So it's all kind of like this. He just made this entire plan so he can sell this land. He wants to get rid of it. He needs the money so he can pay off his home. So yeah, it's all that. But like I said, they do know each other. Like, they went to school together, so it's like they knew of each other. But she was known as like this weird quiet person, whereas he was like almost known as a bully. So like, you have that dynamic, like them relearning each other and finding out like what they really thought of each other while they were in school. So you have all of that going on, and then you get to see like just how it turns into real love, because obviously, you know, let's not play games, we know it turns into real love. Like, that's the whole point of us reading the book. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Absolutely loved it. There is going to be another book. I think we're going to get the brother's point of view, because the guy, he has a twin brother, so I think we get his story. We either get his story or we get the main female character's best friend, which I don't know which one. I hope we get the twin brother. I'm like interested in twin brother because he seems like a good time. I feel like I'm gonna laugh a lot in that book. But then last but not least, I finally started the Shadowhunter series, y'all. So I actually promised a friend I was going to read this by January, and that did not happen. But I told her I promised I was going to read it. So I was like, I know I didn't hit the timeline, but I'm still going to read it. So I finally read it in March, and y'all, so good. I gave it 5 stars. Y'all, the way this book is just like, and I think the only reason I kept putting it off was because the series is so huge. Like, yes, there's only 6 books in like the Mortal Instruments, but then my leg, y'all, but after you finish the Mortal Instruments, there's like 3 other series that like all go together. So it's just like, when you're in this, you know you're about to go for a wild ride. And so yeah, I just kept putting it off because it was just such a huge series, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of commitment. But y'all, the minute I started this, I was just fully immersed. I can give a little bit of information on this because it's the first book, but the other books, when I start doing those reviews, it's gonna be hard to give reviews because they're like middle of series. But this the Mortal Instruments, you have Jason Clary. Clary is just a normal human, but she comes across an event where she sees something that she's not supposed to see, and she's not supposed to see it because she's not supposed to have the ability to see something that people glamour. And Jace is wondering why she can see it. So and Jace is what they call a shadow hunter. So shadow hunters are people who basically hunt down demons and get rid of them for the community, you can say. So yes, she sees what happens, and Jason's like, why can't you see this? And she has no idea why she can. But over time, they come across each other's path again, and she basically ends up finding out about her, like who she really is, because her mom goes missing, and she is trying to figure out what happened to her mom. And so she finds out a lot of stuff. She finds out why she can see them and why she never knew she could see them. She finds out about a lot of information about her mom. There's like so much to unpack in this book. But yeah, that is basically what it is about. Clary finds out about the shadow hunters, and she finds out how she falls into their world when she never knew it. But yeah, oh yeah, you can see, like, literally, do y'all see all these books? There's still 3 other books too, because these are the first 6, and then you have 3 for the, I think it's the clockwork world, and then you have the other 3, and then there's like a whole nother 3. Y'all, there's a lot of books, and they're all thick too, but I'm super excited. I'm starting book 3 this weekend, so I cannot wait, because like I said, I am fully invested into that world now. I love it, and I'm enjoying it. It's a good time. So yeah, but those are all the books I read this month, y'all. Like I said, well, last month. I'm filming this kind of late. It's April 11th right now, so I was like, I need to film it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you read in the month of March. If you're in a reading slump, y'all, I hope y'all come out of it, because y'all, it took, whew, I feel like this book, the City of Bones book, is what kind of helped me come out of the slump. Yeah, I think that's what did it, because y'all, I was struggling. But yeah, my birthday is this weekend, so I do have some exciting videos for you guys. I asked you guys on my community page if you wanted a birthday book haul, so I am going to be filming that for you guys, because I treated myself, and it's okay. It's okay, because that's what your birthday is for. But yeah, I love you guys, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.